filming day 2. Oh, this is good lighting.
Yeah, I know. Wait.
Right there.
There we go.
Oh.
What's up? Kind of
And it's Torrey Pines.
Torrey,
You know.
for sure. So today we're gonna be talking about babysitting horror stories, and we're at the park where there's lots of children. Might turn into a third one.
Yeah.
Oh, this is cool.
Oh yeah.
Whoa. All right. So first story I have was, we'll start with chronological order. So like one of the first times I babysat was this little kid. Actually, it's 2 little kids, 2 little girls, and they were like millionaire people, like super nice house, huge house, right? And they had this dog that was really cute, but really like rowdy. And so basically what happened was I was like playing tag with them or like chasing them around or something. Come around a corner and the dog like comes around the adjacent corner and runs into me, and I fell like face first. And it was the one and only time I've ever gotten the wind knocked out of me, which, like, if you know what that is, it's, like, pretty awful. And I legit thought that, like, my rib had broken and punctured my lung, and that I was, like, actually dying. Yeah, and I'm, like gasping for air, and the kids were like, should we call our mom? I'm like, yes, call your mom. Like, I can't breathe. And, like, I ended up being fine. I didn't have to go to the hospital or anything. But basically the kids ended up taking care of me, which was great. Oh, dude.
All right. Babysitting horror story number 2. So I was babysitting this little girl, and she had this swing in her backyard that was like a pretty long swing, and it was wooden, and then it had the like 2 chains.
I thought of Tommy instantly.
The like chains coming down, and it would swing. And so for some reason she didn't want to sit on the swing. She just wanted me to push it with her. So I was on one side of the swing and she was on the other side, and we were both pushing it and stuff. And then all of a sudden we push it, and I guess she fell forward, and so the swing goes back and so she's on the ground. I saw it in slow motion. The swing comes back and hits her in the back of the head. I could see like she was bleeding. Oh. I was like, oh my god, I just killed this kid. Like, I'm gonna go to jail. Her parents
I don't think you would go to jail.
I was like, I definitely just am responsible for this kid, and I'm gonna go to jail. But it was okay. She was fine. It was just a little scratch, because you know when you have like sometimes the smallest scratch, it just bleeds like crazy. Mm-hmm. So yeah, she was okay. She lived. They asked me to babysit again, so they clearly weren't that mad about it. But yeah, I am not the most comfortable with being responsible for children after that.
Yeah. Children are hard to be responsible for. They're not responsible for themselves. Yeah, so then my most recent babysitting... Okay, this lighting is bad.
Yep.
Angle this way. The most recent babysitting horror story, which was... Oh, God.
Oh, look at this kid.
Oh,
look
my
at him.
God.
Off-roading.
Oh, you can't zoom in.
Did you get it?
No, you can't zoom in.
Oh, damn.
Stupid phone. Yeah, so I got asked to babysit like a baby, and like I like can kind of deal with kids, but like little tiny babies I like have never really dealt with before. But I'm like, oh, he's so cute, like it'll be worth it. So I have something called emetophobia, which is pretty common. It's the fear of people throwing up, and it's like, I'll do a whole thing on that one of these days, and how awful that is, and like dealing with that in day-to-day life. But anyways, I was like, got asked to babysit the baby, and my mom was like, yeah, like you're gonna go babysit him. And I was like, but what if he throws up? She's like, he's not gonna throw up, it'll be fine, like it'll all be good. And I was like, but what if he throws up? And she's like, McKenna, babies don't throw up that much, like it'll be fine, like you're gonna be watching him for like 4 or 5 hours, like he's gonna be sleeping most of the time, it'll be fine. I'm like, okay, if you say so. So start babysitting him. Oh, you're good. Feed him. He like goes to sleep. I'm like sitting on their couch watching RuPaul's Drag Race on my iPad. Like, this is great. I'm getting paid to sit here while this baby sleeps. All of a sudden I hear there's like a baby monitor with like a video that's like up on the counter, and I hear like and I'm like nah, that was my imagination. Like, there's no way. And I like glance up there and he's sitting up, and I'm like, okay, well, he's awake, but like he's probably fine. And then I heard it again, and then it was followed by a like, and I'm like, no, this is not happening right now. And I look on the baby monitor and he's like projectile vomiting, and I'm like, no way, like this isn't happening. And I go into the baby's room with my flashlight on because it was dark in there, and there's barf everywhere, like on the wall, on the bed, on the crib, on the floor, all over him. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like if you are emetophobic or like have any phobia, like, you know the feeling of like your stomach just drops and like you start getting really hot, and like panic is starting to ensue. And I'm like, oh no, I'm gonna have like a full-blown panic attack and this baby is sick. And so like I didn't know what to do, so I just left the room. And I called my mom first, and I'm like, Mom, he threw up, you told me this would happen. And she's like, oh my gosh, she's like, is he okay? You need to go get him and clean him up. I'm like, I don't want to clean up the baby.
I would not.
And
I can't.
Yeah, and then I called the baby's mom, and then she's like, okay, we'll come home right now. This is like 2 hours in. She's like, we'll come home right now. Like, I'm so sorry. And then she's like, what's he doing right now? And I look on the baby monitor, and he fell asleep again. And I'm like, well, he's sleeping. She's like, well, just leave him there. Oh, no. Oh, I thought they were coming for us. There's somebody on like a tricycle up here that's pretty intense.
We got to get some footage of it.
I know, we really do. We'll get it in a second. So he fell back asleep, and she's like, just leave him there. Just let him keep sleeping, because I don't want him to like wake up and get sick again. I'm like, okay, we'll do. Like, I'll let him sleep. And so I let him sleep, and they were on their way home, and it took them like 40 minutes to get home. And I'm sitting there just staring at the baby monitor like, please don't wake up, please don't wake up, because if he woke up, I would have to clean it up. I'm so awful, like, I should just clean it up. But like, the mom told me not to, so it was fine. And like, luckily he stayed asleep until she got there. And then she tells me, she's like, oh, like, I'm so sorry, I gave him dairy for the first time today. I'm like, in his life? She's like, yes. I'm like, why would you give a baby like real milk, dairy for the first time in their life when you're gonna leave? Like, of course he's gonna get sick. Everyone is sensitive to dairy. So yeah, I left, and I was like, she's like, oh, like, maybe you can come babysit again. I'm like, yeah. And inside I'm like, like, never ever happening again. So long story short, I'm never babysitting again. Having my own kids is gonna be difficult. That's what husbands are for. So one of these days. Sick. All right. Deuces.
Hold on, my sock. It keeps falling.
I hate
Welcome
socks.
to filming day.
I don't have socks
Filming
on.
day.
Picture for the thing. Why do I always do this? What is it, 2008?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right.